Welcome to Transform Now, the podcast brought to you by robotic process automation pioneer SS&C Blue Prism. Digital transformation has the potential to reshape the way companies service their customers, engage their employees, and manage their operations. Whether you're looking to develop strategies, tactics, or best practices to positively impact the future of work, or you're curious to see how other companies have successfully navigated their digital transformation programs, then this podcast is for you. We're here to help you transform now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Marchuk. Welcome to the Transform Now podcast. The key word for today's episode is live. We originally broadcast this live on LinkedIn Live during the Toronto BP Live event. You see where I was going with the whole live thing? As we chatted with Catherine Stewart from Novelis. So I hope you enjoy this encore presentation. I have with me our special guest, Catherine Stewart from Novelis. Catherine, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Absolutely. So I recently joined Novelis back in June. I was actually at Blue Prism, ran the East Coast here for about 4 years. And I had an exciting opportunity to join a very innovative boutique consulting services and technology company that's headquartered out of Paris, France. And they were looking to enter the market here in the Americas. And so I took on this opportunity.
So tell us about that. So being a French company,
Yep.
They're looking at the American market. What was drawing them towards the American market on the scale?
Well, I mean, in France, they are one of the top 50 growing companies and innovative companies. And I think they have grand ambitions.
Time to conquer the world.
That's right. And I think one of the things that really can bring benefit to the America's market is the expertise we have around AI. So we've been investing 26% of our revenues for the past 5 years in research and
You have
around
a whole other
LLMs.
division of
Correct.
Novelis. It's Novelis Labs, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. So I think the time was right. They've been getting ahead of these things. They've written scientific papers. We have written scientific papers and have won a few contests. A Microsoft design, we came in first.
Okay.
Came in second at a Yale event. So there's some really great credibility there. And as process efficiency experts, we also have deep expertise in process intelligence, so that beginning stage of really understanding your processes from an unbiased data perspective, right? And then the expertise to go in and really look at those bottlenecks and inefficiencies and solve them with innovative technologies like AI or intelligent automation, Blue Prism, or process reengineering or training, et cetera.
You've actually got some of your own tools that you guys have developed. Can you tell us a bit more about those? Because those look actually pretty cutting edge.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've developed a tool called Smart Roby, which is an enterprise RPA governance platform.
Okay.
And we actually initially developed it over 3 years ago for ourselves because we do manage services around automation.
Right.
And to be able to effectively manage and govern the Blue Prism digital workforce. And we've scaled it out and matured it over time. And we really have 3 stakeholders in mind when we did this. One of obviously is the COE, so it does all the things that you would expect.
Obviously, we got
like, scheduling the bots, understanding utilization, et cetera.
Sure.
But as importantly, it really brings in the business as a true partner in the automation. So the business can track KPIs, their time to value, ROI, et cetera, and really, and also see their specific processes, how they're performing. And I think the big thing is that it allows the business to handle exceptions. Right. So it'll get alerted. You can assign the exception to a teammate to go and resolve it, relaunch the automation with maybe a new data set, et cetera. So it really empowers the business to be a true partner in your automation program. And from a leadership perspective, they really have true visibility into the value they're getting out of their automation so that they can invest additional dollars in a smart way.
Yeah, it's one thing to operationalize something and you'll get the efficiencies of the operations, but to actually say, now I can actually demonstrate back up to our stakeholders the value that you're delivering as part of the overall program. Now they can see, well, this is a good investment.
Exactly.
We're actually doing what we're expecting to do and we're seeing the benefits and the fruits of all this labor that may not necessarily be as evident unless you're doing a tool like this to track it.
Exactly. And we all know that that's part of when you go and ask for funding, that's never an easy conversation. That makes
Exactly.
it a lot easier. So.
Exactly. So, I want to go back to that the AI Labs division. So, I know it's coming up with some other things. There may be some things, secret things in the future here, but what kind of things have they been working on, sort of like in general, that maybe you can kind of give us some insights into?
So we have been working with LLMs since 2018.
Okay.
So we have deep expertise around that, where we built a practice around helping enterprises leverage their own internal data and build LLMs with their own internal data
Mhm.
in a secure and scalable and compliant way.
Right.
Right. So that's one piece just from a services perspective. And without disclosing too much, because we are working on
I figured there's
on
some
a
secret
patent.
sauce in this, right?
Yeah, there's such a paradigm shift with Gen AI, and it's moving at a speed that we've never seen before in tech,
Yes.
right? And so the way humans interact with machines is completely changing. We're going to be talking to machines
Mhm.
like a friend,
Right.
right? And so our vision is to build a platform, and we're in the process of that, where it's going to an enterprise grade platform,
Mhm.
right? With all the security and the compliance that's required, which will
Right.
allow the enterprise or people within the enterprise to interact with machines. At
You're
scale.
notching us up a little. You're not just gonna have a conversation with ChatGPT about something.
No,
Sounds like this is like a new way to interact with our digital labor force, like as a whole.
digital labor force and systems,
Yeah.
right?
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So
Well,
that's
we'll
very high
definitely,
level. I can't provide much more than that at this point, but
I understand.
once we get a patent, I'll be able to share
understand.
more.
I understand.
So-
Well, that's very interesting stuff. And certainly it demonstrates the fact that you guys are leading the charge on a lot of this stuff in terms of building not only the tools, but you already have the expertise. You've been doing this for quite some time now.
Yeah.
You have customers, they're
Absolutely.
very deep into automation and moving forward with it. So as we look at maybe into 2024, there's all kinds of like things that are happening, globally, technology changes and whatnot. Get your crystal ball out. We're at the end of the year now. Get your crystal, polish it off and say, I think we're going to be headed here next year with this sort of either technology or the market. Where do you see this stuff going?
I mean, when you think about the development piece of RPA or your
Mhm.
digital, your automations,
Yeah.
do you need developers anymore, right? With Gen AI, or can you just show the platform what you need to do, right? Or
in
what
your
your
case, maybe
process
you
is,
just talk to it and tell
or
it what you
talk
need to do.
to it, and can it develop it for you within Blue Prism or other platforms, right?
Yeah.
So I think that the market's going to move in that direction pretty rapidly. Is kind of our
That
big
shortens
prediction.
that distance between the business coming up with some concepts and actually being able to proof them out.
Yeah.
And listen, we can build this out here. We can now, with your Smart Roby, we can see once we've done this, rolled it into production, and see the benefits, or if the benefits were what we expected to in a very short period of time. Is that fail fast kind of mentality, right?
Correct. Yep.
Or maybe succeed fast in this case.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So as we look at sort of the change for Novelis as you go into maybe next year, I know you guys are growing here in the United States. How do you see the broader community of customers coming together to either adopt or transform even the way Novelis does business here in the States? Because I know customers kind of can have an influence on us and what we're trying to do. And of course, you've got all kinds of stuff going on globally
Yeah.
from a Novelis.
I think we are having a lot of conversations around the enterprise LLM,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that the feedback we get from customers, because it's still early stages, we don't have a lot of proof points yet,
Sure.
right? It's not like anything like
This is
this.
still
It's been-
cooking, right?
Exactly. I think that that'll be the biggest transition in terms of how we tweak our strategy and approach
Okay.
based on customer interactions and the feedback that they provide us as we, identify use cases to build these LLMs, et cetera. Because there's a cost component involved as well. We've got to think about that, right?
Sure.
So there's a lot of different elements that still need to be ironed out. Like while I think we're very well positioned in the market to lead the way here,
Mhm.
there's still a ton we need to learn. And the partnership with a customer is how we're going to tweak and really fine tune,
Sure.
not just the LLM, but fine tune our approach.
To the approach and
Yeah,
delivery of that.
exactly.
Makes sense. Based on some of the customer feedback that you had on some of these things, obviously, again, go into detail, totally understand that. Where do they see the biggest application for this, or do you know? Or again, I don't want to try.
The use cases are kind of endless, right?
Yeah.
But when you think about, I'll give you a good use case, even from a personal standpoint, right? Insurance policies are super complicated, right? And trying to understand what happens in whatever scenario. Think of your healthcare insurance. Like,
Sure.
if I go see this doctor and this network, what do I have to pay out of pocket, my deductible, all that? And trying to figure that out takes time, right? And sometimes you still don't get it right. But if you were able to ask through GenAI, say, hey, in this scenario, what is it going to be? And it just tells you based on understanding your policy.
Gotcha.
So we've seen that use case.
That sounds like from the healthcare provider,
but also think of like auto insurance or, you know, or any.
So this is well beyond chatbot kind of capabilities now, because you're actually going in to understand what you personally have as a customer of that firm.
It's customized. It's not just a general question, right? It's my policy, details in my policy, and how a certain scenario would apply to me. That's one, like, I think, pretty powerful use case.
I would say, especially when you start bringing in the capabilities of voice and whatnot. Now you can transform even what contact center might look like, because it may not be people answering the phone anymore. It may be our AI, smart AI answering the phone and being able to talk with folks in a very natural kind of way.
That's right.
About very specific things that it really understands.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Exciting times for sure.
It is. So, last thoughts as we're wrapping this up. When we're looking again into 2024, say first, second quarter, when you're looking at your customer base and just globally, just generally speaking, would you say that the customers are at a maturity level now that they can take on some of these things early on next year? Or is this going to be something that's going to be, they're going to dabble with it, but really it's not going to be till maybe 2025 or whatever that they're ready?
I personally believe that the speed at which we're moving with GenAI, in the past, I've been in technology in my entire life. I spent, 10 years at Merrill Lynch and Bank of America, right? And in IT. And when we were in the larger enterprise at that time, we would wait for the hype to kind of settle down.
Right.
I don't think companies can afford to wait this time around.
Yeah.
It's moving way too fast. So I think it won't be at scale next year, except for some early adopters, right? Some that are willing to take more risks.
Sure.
But I think that you're going to see real implementations. They're going to have to, otherwise they're going to be, I think, to be left behind.
It's moving that fast now.
I believe so.
So. It sounds like Novelis is very well positioned, though, to take advantage of this, not only with your labs, but you guys have the expertise on the automation side as well.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really good.
Yep.
Well, Catherine, I'm glad you were able to join us today on this special live edition of SS&C Blue Prism Transform Now podcast. And we look forward to hearing more about Novelis as we go into 2024.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for tuning in to Transform Now. For more insightful discussions on digital transformation and more, check out our podcast channel where you'll find all of our previous episodes. And to make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast player. And if you like what you've heard, please leave us a review. For more information about digital transformation and the future of work, check out blueprism.com to learn how SS&C Blue Prism's digital workforce is enabling enterprise transformation now.